Welcome to another Real Retirement Stories. Today's guest is Cheri. She is a retiree in Florida. I should take that back. Maybe I won't say she's a retiree in Florida. You're going to find out her story in a moment, and maybe you'll say for yourself, that's not a traditional retirement, and that's why she's on the show. We're going to talk to her. Cheri, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Okay, so let's talk about retirement. What age did you retire?
62.
62. And how long have you been retired?
2 years. I'm turning 64 in another month.
See, that's my way of asking how old you are without asking how old you are. So it's been 2 years of retirement. Were you married when you retired?
I was not. I was divorced.
Okay. So it's just you. And think back 2 years ago, not too long ago.
Yeah.
Do you remember how you felt about retiring right before you did? What were the feelings going on?
Well, I had started thinking about it a year or two before, actually. And like 10 years ago, I used to watch like HGTV and people retiring abroad internationally and buying homes as a second home. And I had it in my mind that I'd love to retire at age 60. When I really realized that during COVID, I was, by myself in an apartment at the time, and I was really thinking about this. I didn't think 60 was quite right yet. I thought that maybe I need to make 62 just in case I needed to take Social Security at the time.
Okay.
But I was saving aggressively, and you can do that after 50 or 55. You can add extra to your 401k.
Catch up.
Yeah,
Catch up. Yep.
And stuff. So I was in the mindset of thinking about it, and I was also in the mindset of what do I want to do? What does that look like? I had started watching during COVID and being alone a lot, some YouTube videos of people traveling full time called slow travel.
Okay.
This all got in my mind. I started thinking about it, and then I was slowly making preparations, and I can tell you what that is if you want. But what happened was right before my 62nd birthday, Thanksgiving, my mom was diagnosed with stomach cancer. She was 86. She was, near the end of her life, generally speaking of age-wise. But we found out she had 2 months. So I actually took FMLA, and I spent a lot of time with my mom. And she died at the end of January. And I really made the decision that, you only have one life, you only have so much time. People think of midlife at 50. Not many people live to 100.
Right.
So that's when I said, I need to pull the trigger.
So thinking back to maybe like the year, you decided, I think I'm going to do this. 62 is the number. Now you're 61. What were your big fears at that point? Do you remember being fearful?
Yes, because my big plan was to travel, to be this slow time traveler, full-time traveler for the majority of the year. And so I was thinking of traveling somewhere new every month, 2, 3 months, different places. And my mindset was I needed to try this out. So the year before, at 61 at Christmas time, actually at the beginning of December, I saved up all my vacation time. And what I did is I went to Thailand for a month. And I said to myself, what's this going to be like to just travel a whole month, take one small suitcase? You have to do laundry. I cheated. I did stay at hotels.
Okay. It was a test. It
was a test, and I wanted to make it successful. And I'd asked my niece, who had lived in China for 1.5 years, and I said, where would you go? And she said, Cheri, go to Thailand. They love their visitors. They love their tourism. And everybody was really great with me. And people always ask me what was my best experience of that. It was really going and doing laundry by myself at a laundromat because they didn't speak English. I wasn't in a hotel where somebody would speak English to me.
Right.
And it's amazing how generous people are of their kindness and time. And I just had a great experience. And I knew I could be by myself for a month. And I knew that I found it really exciting, and I wasn't scared, and I kept in touch with people. So I didn't feel super lonely in any way. So I said to myself, yeah, I know I can do this.
Okay.
And then after that, I did go to Machu Picchu in Peru. I got into hiking before I retired. For a couple of years, I was hiking a lot. And so I'd gone there, and then I'd gone to Patagonia in Argentina and on the Chile side and did some hiking down there as well. So now I was getting really excited.
Okay.
Thailand was fun beach time and a little bit of exploring and doing different things that I'd ever done before, especially, um, on water tours and different things like that. So this was totally different when I was going hiking and experiencing different cultures in Peru and Argentina.
Did you speak Thai or
Nope.
Spanish or any?
Nope. Nothing.
Okay. So this was,
All brand new, and I did it, and I was super happy. But again, I was more of a tourist
okay.
because those trips were like, 10 days to Peru, 10 days down in Argentina, maybe 2 weeks down in Argentina. Then what happened with my mom and where I was at, and I knew at 62 I could claim Social Security if I chose to, that I was ready to pull the trigger. But was I nervous? Yeah.
So this, from a outside perspective, people watching, probably sounds really expensive. Are you independently wealthy? And
No.
did you have any financial concerns at that point?
Of course. Are you kidding? I watched some videos on YouTube. It's so funny. That's where I found you. I don't know if you know that or not, but that's where I found you. And then I thought, well, you weren't far away. And I was like, I could resonate with what you had to say. And I said to myself, I'll go and talk with someone. But before that, I was listening to a lot of advice. And so some of it you take and you think that relates to me and some not. Everybody's different. I can't say that, what worked for me would work for someone else, but I'm definitely not independently wealthy. Everybody wants more money when they retire. I've learned when I've talked with other people who retired, sure, I would love more money, but there's a balance of time and money, and I consider them interchangeable. So in other words, you can pay for the fast line at an amusement park and pay more, or you can wait in line if you have the time. So to me, time and money was always on my mind. And I knew that also the healthiest part of your retirement, your younger years of retirement, is when you really want to be as active for maybe some of those adventurous trips or adventurous things you want to do, if you want to be hiking or something like this. So I was definitely having that on my mind and balancing that with how much money I have and how that would work out. Once I realized that the money would work, I was 80% confident. Once I'm 80% confident, I'm a pretty good planner for most things. Once I feel 80% confident, I'm ready to pull the trigger.
You thought you had enough at that point, or 80% sure you had enough to do this?
Right, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
What was it that gave you that level of confidence? What kind of math did you do? What kind of numbers did you run?
Well, when I realized that my money could work for me, and I also realized in conversation that I really wanted to die with $0. And that's a different perspective than I'd ever had before. Like, you really want to burn down your money and be willing to. And that's hard to get comfortable, to burn down your money, because you're used to saving and saving and saving and trying to build and build. And then someone or someone say to you, no, now what you want to be able to do is invest it, yes, and try to have that work for you. But also, what do those investments look like, and how does it look like to continue to use that money, unless you wanted to leave it for someone, which I don't necessarily need to do that. So it was a different mind shift to say it's okay to spend it.
And that's a tough leap to go from saving to spending.
Yes.
And
I think that's the hardest leap.
so that 80% confidence level, what would you say that 20% fear or unknown was? Was it the financials, or was it maybe I won't like this after all?
No, I was okay with it if I didn't like it. if I didn't like it, I could shift to do whatever I want to do. I could volunteer somewhere. I could learn something else. But all of that about retirement, anything you want to do, you can do. I'm I'm pretty willing to shift my life to continue to find my happy spot, to keep finding things that satisfy me and excite me and keep me motivated. But I wasn't worried about what I'd be doing. I knew I could do whatever I wanted to do. It was just a matter of could I afford everything I wanted to afford. I didn't want to worry about money. That's the mindset I was at. I didn't want money to be the choice, make my choices.
Not right away, anyway.
Not right away. Right. If health becomes an issue, that's going to change things. I think that would be for anyone.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now you're retired. You've been at it for a couple of years now.
Yeah.
What surprised you the most
Oh my gosh.
when you retired?
So what surprised me the most was how easy it was to get rid of everything and move into my aunt's second bedroom. I really downsized my life, and it wasn't as painful as I thought it would be. I did keep my car from when I'm back, but and I still might let go of that. But what was really surprising for me was once I started traveling. So first thing I did is I went to Argentina for 3 months, and I learned some Spanish. I spent 100 hours out of school, so that was kind of fun, and I learned how to tango. I mean, I got myself involved and did yoga. So I was dancing, yoga, keeping myself fit and active.
And where did you stay for 3 months? That's a long time.
Airbnb.
Airbnb,
I've
okay.
done all this through Airbnb now.
But that sounds expensive.
If you stay a month, they give you a discount. And it wasn't as expensive. I know it's creeping up here, but it's a little expensive overseas, but nothing like a hotel. So probably average close to $2,000 a month. And you would spend that on rent in the United States. So I had that in mind in my budget. You can eat pretty cheaply too, so you can adjust that depending on how much you eat out.
Mm-hmm.
And on vacation, you eat out a lot, but when you live, you don't usually.
Okay.
And not only that, I was walking everywhere. And I would take Uber, and Uber works in every other country. And it's so funny, if you even text the driver, they change it into the language. It's so amazing to me how great it is. So many things are simpler than I ever imagined. I traveled over my life many times, and I traveled when I was, 15 in Paris with my sister, and she was 18, and, we went for a short time, and there's no maps, no language translators, things like that. It's so much easier now. It's just so much easier. So everything's so much easier than you think it is. People are so much more helpful. You find so many good people who are willing to help you and they're friendly. It's so amazing to me. And I know a little bit of Spanish now, but I wouldn't say that I'm fluent by any stretch of the imagination. And after I did 3 months, so I went 6 months before I came back. I went 3 months to Argentina and then 3 months to Peru. And I have friends now, lifetime friends in both of these countries. And when I went to Peru, I was there a long period of time as well. Did the same thing, joined yoga, walked everywhere that I could, keeps you fit. Meet people along the way, whether it's a restaurant, a cafe, or whatever, strike up conversations. People find my story interesting, and it makes it easy to talk with other people. And more people than you think want to practice their English, which is interesting in and of itself. So all of that wasn't as hard as I thought. But what happened is last year I went traveling and I sped up my travel. So I was in Spain and moving every week for 2 months, and I was in Portugal 1 month. And what I would tell you is I was really surprised how many people are traveling.
Americans, you're saying, or in general?
In general, but definitely Americans. And just there's so many more people traveling in Europe And I've been to Europe many times before, but there was something in my mind that I always kind of wanted to maybe see if the coast of Spain was somewhere I'd like to live. And actually I wouldn't now, which is interesting. It was kind of like a little dream that kind of went poof, like the air out of the balloon it happened. So, it was surprising to me how the places that I thought I would want to be in more are not the places I want to be in now,
Hmm.
and how many more people are traveling, and how expensive Europe is. That was surprising to me as well. And how much further your money could go in South America
Okay.
or even Thailand. Your money goes so much further in some of these other countries. And also, like, people think these countries are maybe they would say third world, let's say, for example.
Yeah.
And I don't consider them that way at all. You can go to a mall just like you can here. You can go to a grocery store just like you can here. They have all the same services, all the same everything. I actually slipped and fell in Peru. I didn't have to, but I decided to go get my wrist X-ray. Nobody spoke English. They got somebody on the phone to talk to me. People will do whatever they can to help you, and it was fine. I didn't break my wrist, which was good.
That is good.
I wore a little brace and stuff.
That is a concern when healthcare.
Right.
How did you deal with that?
So healthcare is a whole nother issue. Actually, if you want to know what keeps me up at night, it's healthcare. But maybe that's the case for many Americans. How I've managed it is I've gone through the exchange to get my healthcare over these last couple of years, and then I buy travel insurance. The maximum number of months you can buy travel insurance is like 6 months. But so I buy travel insurance as backup. I've got the exchange policy. That's my primary policy. There might be coverage there for trips, but I'm not really sure. The other thing I also have purchased is MedJet, which is they will fly you home if there's, say I had a heart attack or a terrible fall or something and I needed surgeries and wanted to get back home. They would get you back home. They also have it where you can buy it where if there's discontent in a country, they can also
Get you out quick.
get you out,
Okay.
right? Get you home.
Was that part of your budget? Were you thinking along those lines? Is that affordable?
Actually, the MedJet is like, I want to say $5 or $5.50 a year. To me, it's affordable. What is the travel insurance? I've never paid more than like, I want to say and remember, my age works against me with travel insurance. $600, I think, for the 6 months. So I think that's affordable as well. Where it's the big surprise was healthcare here. And I think that probably affected many people who maybe are not on Medicare between last year and this year. I'm spending twice as much. So that's the big concern that I have right now.
Okay. When it comes to reflecting back on the last 2 years of retirement, what did you get wrong? Did you make any mistakes?
Definitely the healthcare.
The healthcare?
Definitely the healthcare. It would cost much more than I thought it would. Took a little bit more chunk out of the budget kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm conscious of also the flights I take. I kind of feel like I can be flexible there and, work that in my budget and not fly at the peak times or the most expensive seats or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one way I can adjust. There's different levers you can use to adjust your budget how you need to. I could stay at a different Airbnb, for example, if I wanted to, if I'm only there a week, where I don't have to have a washing machine and dryer or air conditioning and heat. There are some that have them, some that don't. When I'm staying somewhere for 3 months, obviously I want a washing machine.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I want to be able to have heat and air conditioning and stuff. So that's why I'm paying a little bit more for an Airbnb like that.
What would you say are common misconceptions that people have about retiring in America and doing it at quote unquote an early age like you did, what are some of the things people just don't seem to get?
There's a trade-off between, again, time and money, and that your happiness and your freedom to pick and choose what you want to do means something. And money, hopefully, isn't always going to be the driver. And I know living in the United States all my life, keeping up with everyone, with buying the homes, the cars, having new things all the time. You don't really need that in life to be happy. And that's not to say everybody has their own thing about what they need to be happy. And if that's what makes you happy, that's okay. No judgment here for myself or others. But it's surprising what will make you happy. It's changed over time. For me, it's the little nuances in life that are surprises. It's about all the kindness that happens in the world that you come across. That touches my soul and my happiness so much more. The experiences in life than really always trying to spend more and more. I used to spend like probably $5,000 to go on a week vacation because, you worked so hard and you wanted to go to this really nice resort or this really nice experience, and you'd spend a lot of money, and maybe you'd fly business class, and you wanted the best experience and the most relaxing time for that week. And now, I know that I don't need all that to be happy per se. So I think retirement is what you want to make it. It's how you want to spend your money and your time, and there's choices.
Right. So, regarding your retirement journey from age 60 to when you pulled the trigger, would you do anything differently? You have any regrets, or do you wish you did anything differently before you retired?
I wished I did it 2 years before.
You wish you retired earlier?
I wished I retired earlier, and I bet most people would say that. It's so funny, my aunt asked me if I wished I would have worked longer. And I said, in hindsight, the job I had at the time, in a corporate job, my peers, it all ended for them, the department, like a year later. Would it have been nice to work another year and get 6 months severance?
Health insurance would be cheaper.
And health insurance and stuff, sure. But, I wish I would have done it even a year earlier, because I feel like the costs have sped up in the last 2 years. And I think even doing it a year or two earlier wouldn't have hurt the budget so much. And I think getting comfortable not saving and spending is the biggest problem, and really realizing how much you need to retire in the way you want to retire that would make you happy.
What's your least favorite part about retirement so far?
The least favorite part is the instability in the world right now. I didn't anticipate that. That's probably the biggest surprise, is where we're at 2 years later. I thought things would be a little bit more steady. Then there's so much influx in the world right now. And I'm not just talking about politically or anything regarding that. There's also a lot of instability even regarding AI and how that's going to affect the world. There's things that are rushing, that are moving fast. And it's so funny because I've slowed down. And that's a great aspect of this, is you get to slow down and have less worry and feel calmer and feel at peace more. And then there's a lot of instability in the world from the fact that, there's not that glide path that we used to have a long time ago.
Yeah. So what's next then for you?
So what's next is, I'd given myself 3 years, but in 2 years, I made the decision that I'm going to get a retirement visa in Peru. And
Peru, have you ever been there?
Well, yeah. I've been there, and I've stayed there 3 months, and
Oh,
I've
that's
gone
right.
back,
Okay, right.
and I've gone back I've been there 3 times in total. And what I would say is that I'm willing to give this a shot, because Peru is not maybe as perfect as the United States, how everything gets run, but the food there is fantastic. In Lima, there's a Malecon by the water that you can walk by, and it's not sunny all the time. It's interesting the way the water and the air works as far as in the winter. It's very gloomy there, kind of like London or something, but the temperature range is like between like 65 and like 80, and I'm not about dramatic swings in temperature anymore. Climate means a lot to me. Good food means more to me. Healthy food. So living a good life means that I've got access to keep myself healthy, and that I can be active. And you can also be very active in Peru. So yeah, I want to spend like 6 months out of the year for sure, at least.
And you need a special visa for that
Yes,
length of time.
a rentista, a retirement visa, and I can come and go. After a number of days, then you would be considered a tax citizen there. We don't have a tax treaty like many other countries, so I have to be kind of conscientious of whether I want to pay taxes or not.
Okay. And what do you? I know you're excited about this.
Yeah.
But what are you scared about going to Peru for extended time? What's your big fear there?
My big fear in any other country is political instability as well. You could have Argentina, actually. Buenos Aires is like my favorite city. To me, it's even like more fantastic than Paris or Madrid, and I love it. Absolutely love Buenos Aires. But the country's gone through a lot of instability with their money and with their inflation, so it's not really something I would consider for retirement right now. But Peru's been pretty stable. They have a different president almost every year, and their political environment is beyond me about that. But as far as prices and being able to live there and have access to everything, all of that is fairly stable. So I'm looking forward to it, but I do worry about political instability anywhere in the world.
Have you considered helping other people? Would you be interested and willing to talk to other people that are like, hey, I want to know more about moving to Peru? Would you be willing to share ideas with them?
So many people helped me as I talked to them. Their journey helped me figure out my journey, and I'm always willing to share. And in fact, I'm hoping to actually donate my time, volunteer when I'm in Peru, and actually teach English maybe in a school to younger people.
Yeah.
And so I don't have to know a lot of Spanish to talk with them and stuff. But to me, it's about making community, and my community is the world, and everybody I meet, I don't consider a stranger, I consider a friend. So I'm happy to talk to anybody.
It's exciting. I'm excited to see where you go with this. I'm looking forward to catching up with you again. Before we go, what advice would you give somebody that's thinking about retirement, whether or not it's international or just traditional stay at home? Would you give any guidance to them about this?
I would really take stock of where you're at and where you want to be, and try to figure out. I'm a planner, so I would consider, making a plan to get there. A lot of people dream, but they don't make a plan. Making a plan to me is taking action. And the first step is doing something, and just always know that your decision isn't permanent. You can change course. You can say, I don't like this anymore. You can say, I want to go back to work. That's one of the things. I saved up enough money that, I didn't take Social Security right away. And what I did is really try to say to myself, is this fitting for me? Because I can always go back to work. that might not be the case in the future. I don't know.
Something tells me that's not on your radar.
It's not on my radar at all. But I would just say, make a plan. Start preparing. Start getting in the mindset of where you want to be and milestones, where you want to be at a certain time. I think it's hard when you're forced to retire, when you lose a job. I think it's hard when you're forced to do anything that you weren't really quite ready for. And I think that retirement's one of those things that it's a big step, because again, you're not having your income or your savings, you're now thinking about working off your money and burning it down again. So getting into a different mindset and getting comfortable with that, I think is a big step. And really knowing that you will be fine if you just change course, if it's not working.
Excellent. Thank you, Cheri. Any final thoughts before we go?
No final thoughts, but I will tell everybody this. When I was young, I had a gentleman who was my boss, who was almost like a father to me, and he told me when I get a raise to put 1% away, and that made a big difference. A big difference. So saving over the course of your life versus the last 5 years or 10 years really made a difference for my life.
That's an excellent advice. Thank you. Great talking with you, Cheri. Thanks again for sharing your story.
No problem. Take care.